Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the 14. I'm your host, Chris Lee. Barry Allen joins me. We are really just, as you're hearing this, a few hours away from the College World Series final. It'll be the last game of the season, barring rain, which has been an issue in Omaha all week. But, Barry, it has been a great College World Series so far, but my goodness, games 1 and 2 of these finals between Vanderbilt and Mississippi State have been lacking for sure.
Yeah, we've had a compelling World Series through Saturday night, and then Monday we've hit a wall. Just two really bad games. Mississippi State couldn't pitch Monday night, and Vanderbilt couldn't pitch and play defense Tuesday night, and the result have been two really one-sided, uninteresting games. Through the first two nights, Vanderbilt, the offense showed up in the first inning Monday night, and last night Mississippi State took advantage of, 10 walks and 3 errors and 2 hit batters and a ball that struck Riley on the leg and ricocheted into right field, and a ball that stuck in the glove of Carter Young at shortstop, and he couldn't pull it out to throw the runner out. So it's just a lot of bizarre things, but just bad fortune for Mississippi State Monday night and bad fortune for Vanderbilt last night, and hopefully two bads will make a good, and the capper to the season tonight will be a really good game. That's what we're hoping for.
Well, everything was going to be dictated on who got the early lead, in that you had a staff day for Vanderbilt, more or less. Vanderbilt hoped for a different plan, but Christian Little, just after his defense let him down, he lost his control. Patrick Riley came in out of the bullpen, couldn't throw strikes either. And what that really did was it allowed State to save most of its better arms. I mean, frankly, Bednar and Sims are the best who they've gotten, and then there's a pretty significant drop-off to everybody else. And that really was key. It wasn't just who's going to win the game. It was, is Vandy going to make this interesting to really make State's pitching situation not ideal heading into Wednesday, and Vanderbilt was unable to do that.
Yeah, they were able to, win the game with Harding and Johnson, and they didn't have to use anybody else. And then Monday night, with the game out of hand in the first inning, obviously Chris Lemonis didn't run out, the upper arms, that he has, and was able to, their bullpen Monday night was able to keep them in it a little bit. And, last night their bullpen really kept them in it and saved, Bednar and Sims, and I think they have to feel like they're in pretty good shape tonight. If Bednar can give them 4 or 5 and Sims can close it out, I think they have to feel like they're in pretty good shape. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, last night, couldn't hold them down. Things kind of got out of hand, and then, Corb started subbing guys at the end and then using other guys. So, he might have to feel pretty good too that he, in 2 games, he hasn't used McIlvain or Murphy. Fisher hasn't pitched either. He did use Maldonado for 3 innings Monday night, but I would think he would be able, with a day off, to come back and pitch tonight. So I think both bullpens, based on the 2 ugly games, set themselves up pretty good for tonight. And if we get the Rocker Bednar matchup on the mound that we think we will as starters, I think the bullpens, with the 2 bad games the first 2 nights, and not having to burn quality arms in blowout games, both teams, I think, are pretty well set up for the last game tonight.
Yeah, I think the key will be, how long could Bednar go? Because Rocker has just been money in these situations. He won a couple of elimination games as a freshman when Vanderbilt faced elimination in the postseason, won those in pretty spectacular fashion, won MVP of the College World Series, and saved Vanderbilt's season. Now, he's probably a little more tired coming into this one, which I don't think is a non-factor. And then on the other hand, you've got Bednar, who threw fewer pitches his last outing, but is also pitching on 1 day less rest. To me, Vanderbilt, I don't know, I would think that Rocker is set up to go longer than Bednar, probably. Sims is the best option in anybody's bullpen, and he's shown that he can go 3 to 4 innings consistently and just shut you down. Maybe 3. I don't know about 4 as much, but certainly the master of those 2 and 3 inning outings where you just don't get anything. So to me, Vanderbilt's got more arms because it's got Maldonado and Murphy, who have been dominant sitting out there. I don't know that either of those guys are as good as Sims, but I think I might rather have the combination because it gives you 2 instead of 1. And then they've got Chris McIlvaine, who's been pretty good and shut State down when the 2 teams played here. So to me, all that, I don't think there's going to be a lot of runs scored. And I think to me that makes the early innings more important because to me it's how long Bednar can go. If that's, say, 4 innings, I don't know if you can get Sims 5. I don't know that you can't, but I'm not sure we've seen that a lot. And then if it goes extra innings, again, I think Vanderbilt's got more arms suited to pitch the situation. Now, Tim Corbin did say last night he didn't know about Nick Maldonado, who threw about 50 pitches on Monday. So there's that. We're not certain he's going to be available, but I would expect he probably would be some. So to me, I think Vanderbilt's got a little bit more pitching depth, and certainly you've got the rocker factor with what he's done before. And to me, that makes the early innings important in terms of whose starter can go longer.
You know, what Kumar Rockers, this will be his 5th career College World Series start. This will be his 3rd this time when he started 2 the previous time they were there. You mentioned he was the MVP of the 2019 College World Series. You know, Vanderbilt's backs are to the wall in the Super Regional that year. They got hammered by Duke in Game 1 in Nashville. And he turns around in Game 2 and goes, yeah, that's okay. Throw a perfect game or no hitter. And then they won on Sunday. So he has had those situations where, you know, we got to win situations, and he's been able to do that. He's thrown 211 pitches in his 2 starts in the College World Series. Bednar in 2 starts has thrown 205. So they're pretty close to each other in how many pitches that they've actually thrown. You know, Bednar on 1 less day's rest tonight than Kumar Rocker will. Kumar threw on Friday. Bednar had to throw on Saturday against Texas, 97 pitches in that game. So, you know, the starters are going to dictate, like we said Monday night, the starters are going to dictate tonight, like Monday night starters did, who can go the longest and save the bullpen. We didn't know it was going to be an ugly game early, and Mississippi State just started running guys out there that didn't pitch a lot. So they haven't really burned all of their guys in their pen. So, you know, how many innings does Rocker pitch? How many innings does Bednar go tonight? I think you're right with the fact that if Bednar, you know, if he can only get them 4, can Sims go 5? I don't think he's gone more than 4 innings all year. One of them, he did it in the College World Series. So you got to look and think, well, maybe Vanderbilt's a little bit deeper in that regard of trying to win the game tonight with Rocker and more available arms. But then you also have to look at the fact, you know, they've got Mississippi State's got the quality arm in Landon Sims, and he's been able to go out and get the job done, you know, throughout the year. In fact, he threw 2 2/3 innings against Texas the other night. His 4-inning stint came in the regional against Notre Dame. They brought him in the 6th inning, and he finished the 4-inning game against Notre Dame. Did give up the home run in the 9th inning to Nico Cavada. The ball still hasn't landed yet, and that's been 2 weeks ago. But I think State has the better option with Landon Sims, but Vanderbilt may have more depth in the back end of the game tonight than Mississippi State does with McIlvaine, Murphy, and possibly Maldonado.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, the part we haven't talked about is the fielding and the hitting, and right now State's got an edge in it. And I think Vanderbilt can hit, but my goodness, the bats have just been in the deep freeze for most of the College World Series. The Commodores have had their innings here and there and had them when they matter. Defensively, you saw another meltdown from them last night, which was not characteristic of the way they played their season. It makes you wonder if just exhaustion has set in. I don't know what the explanation is there, but it just is. And so to me, State, especially when you've got Allen and Jordan at the top of that lineup, who are just so tough to pitch with or pitch to, And you got Vanderbilt. He's got Carter Young in the the 2 hole. He's hitting below 100 in Omaha, I believe. Does have a home run, so you never know when he can jump up and pop you for one there. But just the Commodores aren't hitting. And I don't know. State has got to have a lot more confidence on that end, and that's to where, to me, I think Vanderbilt's got the pitching edge, but State's got the hitting edge, and I think that's what makes tonight. I'm not going to say, oh, maybe it is a toss-up. I think it's awfully close. I think when you start trying to figure out who's got the edge, you can make cases each way.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's clearly has the worst offense and the worst defense in the World Series field. I mean, they're hitting 198 as a team. They've made 10 errors. The next closest team to them is Stanford with 5. So they have double the errors of the next team in the World Series. And then you're sitting down there at the top of the list at Mississippi State and going, they've played 6 games in Omaha and they haven't made an error yet. And this is the third time this year they've played at least 4 straight games without an error. So their defense has been really good. And I saw that in a tweet this morning from David Murray from Dogs Bite. And he tweeted that Mississippi State hadn't made an error in the College World Series, and everybody's killing him, going, "Thanks, David. We're going to make 9 tonight and get beat 14-12. Way to go. Thank you." And so they don't want to talk about it. And it's kind of like, I guess, that no-hitter or perfect game. You don't want to talk about the fact that you hadn't made an error, but Vanderbilt's made 10. And their lineup has just not produced. Carter Young is 2 for 21. With 8 strikeouts. Isaiah Thomas is 2 for 21. Bradfield is 5 for 24. Has stolen 1 base. I mean, 1 base. Guys leads the nation. He's stolen 1 base. Vaz has 4 stolen bases to lead him in the series. Gonzalez has 2 homers and 6 RBI, but he's still only hitting .211. So their offense has been non-existent, really, except for a few innings in the World Series. And then the flip side of that, you look at Mississippi State, they're only hitting .215. It's not like they're just a juggernaut offense in Omaha. Tanner Allen and is hitting .292. They don't have a guy hitting over 300. Logan Tanner's at .286. Rowdy Jordan at .259. And they've had a lot of strikeouts. Kellum Clark, who's had his moments, 4 for 20, has had 2 doubles and a homer and 2 RBI, but he struck out 12 out of 20 at bats. So they've had their moments on offense as well. A couple of big innings, a 4 spot and a 5 spot last night, aided by walks and errors, and a 6-run inning against Texas. But, for the most part, their offense has struggled too. So we'll just have to kind of see which pitching staff maybe can do. I think to me the key to the game tonight is if Vanderbilt makes a bunch of errors, they're going to get beat. And if they play a good, clean game on defense, then they've got a chance to win. But if they make 2 or 3 errors in the game tonight, they have no chance to win.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. Any final thoughts on the game tonight before I turn to one more SEC baseball related matter?
No, I think, it's the last game of the year. We know that now. Yesterday we speculated it could be, but today it is. I think it's been a nice year for the league. You got 2 teams in the finals. So you're going to win your 13th SEC championship. It could be Vanderbilt's 3rd or it could be Mississippi State's 1st. It'd be their 1st in any sport. I think it's been a good year for the league and a lot of things going on outside of the College World Series, that's going on in this league that, I'm excited about, for the future. I don't think this league's going anywhere. And I think 2022 is going to be just as good or better than 2021.
The other matter I wanted to bring up, and I think Kendall Rogers reported this yesterday, Jacob Berry for Arizona, the standout freshman, has hit the transfer portal. Of course, that's significant because Jay Johnson, his coach, is now at LSU. There's been some speculation that maybe Berry could follow him. I don't know if there's anything behind that, but boy, if he ends up in Baton Rouge, that will be a tremendous trio of hitters they'll have down there next year.
Yeah, it will. We've kind of ignored everything else because of the World Series, but he was introduced as their head coach Monday. I don't remember the young man's name, but the number 1 recruit from Arizona in their recruiting class this year has flipped and is now going to join Jay Johnson at LSU. So they lost that guy. I think Arizona now has like 12 or 13 guys in the transfer portal, and one being Jacob Berry. And Kendall did hint yesterday that could be, he could be joining Jay Johnson at LSU. Can you imagine a lineup of Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, and Jacob Berry in the SEC next year? And I don't think, just by reading things and reading a couple of articles yesterday in the Lafayette paper and the Baton Rouge paper, and just seeing things on the internet and online about LSU, it doesn't sound like they're going to lose a ton of guys. And it sounds like that he's going to walk into a pretty good situation. He goes, when I went to Arizona, I was rebuilding. He said, I'm coming here to retool. He goes, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle in place. And I think he's walked into a pretty good situation at LSU. And I think they're going to be a very good factor in 2022, as I think A&M will be. I think Jim Schlossnagle's hire there is a good hire. And he went out and got Nolan Cain from LSU and Nate Yeske from Arizona to be his pitching coach. And I think A&M is committed to make a run and put some money, not that they need it, but put a lot of money in their stadium. I think they kind of like what Arkansas and Mississippi State has and does, and I think they want to replicate that. And I think as brutal as the SEC West is, you better strap them on, brother. Next year, I think it's going to be even tougher. It's really hard to imagine that. It's the best division in all of college sports. Any sport, throw one out there. There's none better than the SEC West in baseball. And I think it's just going to get better, as we get into the future, particularly with LSU and A&M. And I don't think Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Arkansas are going anywhere. So I think the SEC West next year could be really, really, really good.
Yeah, I have a feeling it will be. Barry, we will have a national champion, weather willing, this time tomorrow. I look forward to talking to you about that.
Yeah, I hope we have a really good game tonight. It's the last one of the year, and hope we will crown a champion, and it will be an SEC team, and that's a good thing for the league, and that's a good thing for our work and our fans that follow us and follow our conference.
Yeah, agreed. Well, looking forward to talking with you about that tomorrow. Anyway, I'm your host, Chris Lee. He's Barry Allen. Thank you for listening to the Wednesday episode of the 14. We'll see you again on Thursday.